Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the LeanTossup forecast for the United States Senate. So again, this is a model that I have discussed in the past. I talked about the presidential model, and now we're going to be talking about the Senate model. And again, I do disagree with some things on here. We don't have as blatant disagreements in the Senate as we do at the presidency. So now I'm essentially going to just show you guys what they did. I took the time to just fill out this map. And there's some interesting calls here, like South Carolina as tilt Republican, Alaska as lean Republican, Kansas and Texas only as lean Republican, Louisiana as likely, although Kentucky, surprisingly, is safe. And then Colorado and Arizona both being safe for the Democrats, although Minnesota and Michigan not being safe. And then Maine and North Carolina both being likely rather than lean. So now we're going to go and take a look at some of the swing states, or the finer, more interesting races. So if I can drag this across and get a good view of Alaska. So in the state of Alaska, Al Gross, the Democrat there, has roughly a 30% chance at winning this Senate race, which is good for that. That's not this almost a 1 in 3 chance for a Democrat winning a race in Alaska. That's not a good sign for the Republicans. But they put him ahead by 2.8%, which just falls in the lean margin. Again, I do think that Gross will lose by more than that. I think he'll lose by something like 7 to 9%, maybe 6%. Although in a best case scenario, I do think he would be able to flip it due to his ability to resonate with voters. Remember, he's running as an independent, and also is very is a very strong, skilled speaker. I've listened to him speak. He comes off as very confident, and it comes off as very smart. Again, that's just my opinion. You may disagree with me. That's not for debate. But he's doing better than most than your average Democrat in Alaska would be doing. So LeanTossup does seem to like him a lot, and they do think he has a good chance of winning. Oregon's not really worth talking about. All these states that aren't competitive. But Montana, they give Steve Bullock. I give Bullock like a 55% chance at winning, maybe a little less. Steve Daines has a 39% chance of winning re-election and is expected to lose, which I do think that Bullock will end up losing. Excuse me. I do think that Bullock will end up winning and beating Daines. But, giving him a 60% chance, I don't think he has, or 61% chance, I don't think he has that high of a percent chance of winning. But remember, he is a popular governor. He's won statewide elections on the same ballot as Donald Trump before, and that's why I think he's favored to win this race. So Arizona, as you can see, Democrats 99% chance of winning Arizona. It's almost safe Democratic pickup. And they put it just above 12 points, which means that's a safe state. And I never thought I'd ever say Arizona as a safe Democratic state. But apparently, on this day, it has become a safe Democratic state, at the Senate level at least, to the LeanTossup projection. New Mexico is not really worth talking about. Again, that's an open seat, but they don't really seem too keen on the Republicans even making it close. Colorado, again, this is Cory Gardner's seat. Is expected that he loses, and I think this rating is too generous to Hickenlooper. Remember, Gardner has won a statewide election before, so so is Hickenlooper, but I think Gardner counting money completely is a bad idea. But he still doesn't really have any greater than a 1 in 10 chance at winning, which is why I usually rate both Arizona and Colorado as likely. But, as of right now, LeanTossup does seem to favor the Democrats in the Senate, which is why, got to talk about it because it's interesting, because we have looked at more right-leaning models. This is a more left-leaning one, although I do want to say that one of my commenters did actually remind me that this model did actually get the 2019 gubernatorial elections correct for the most part, even the margins. And they were pretty accurate, so maybe I am doubting this too much. Maybe they know something I don't. But as of right now, I do think this is a little too generous to the Democratic Party. Kansas, the Democrats have essentially an 18% chance at winning this race, which I think makes sense. I think Barbara Bollea maybe at 15%. Remember, she's a former Republican. She's conservative Democrat running in an open seat. She's outraised Roger Marshall. Roger Marshall, remember, he had to waste all his money on a primary trying to defeat Chris Kobach. So I think putting as likely does make sense, but I do think Marshall will win by more than 4%. But again, this is not a horrible forecast, and I could see it being lean. Now, in the state of Texas, between Donald between MJ Heger and John Cornyn. They gave Cornyn a 79% chance at winning re-election, which I think should be much higher, should be around the same margin as John Hickenlooper winning in Colorado. I think they both have a 90 to 92% chance at winning their races, respectively. So that I disagree with, but remember, this is the same model that gives Biden a 75% chance at winning the state of Texas. Louisiana, they do put as likely, it says safe Republican hold, but that just means that it's not likely to flip, but that does 11% margin of victory for the Republican. In this case, it's Bill Cassidy, does fall into the likely column. And then the state of Mississippi going over to Mike Espy trying to defeat Cindy Hyde-Smith. Basically the same thing. The Republicans have a 99% chance of winning here. The Democrats have less than 1%, so makes sense. Now, the Georgia special election, the Democrats have really blew that one, and rightfully so. I mean, they were disorganized. They ran the wrong candidates, and they didn't know how to effectively communicate their message, and that could actually hurt them down ballot in Georgia, which is what is so worrying for them. But Georgia's special Senate election, Democrats have a 3% chance to win there. I think it's a little higher. I think it's more like 10 to 15%. Although, again, this race should be more competitive than it is. But the Republicans, the average vote total, GOP plus 12 nearly. So that just barely makes it a likely seat. And I think that the Republicans are a few steps away from making this a safe seat. So, yeah. But the other one is a completely different story. In fact, they give John Ossoff the edge here and give him a nearly 58% chance at winning this election, ousting popular incumbent, mind you, David Perdue. So they have this. This in Iowa are the toss-up lean Democratic pickups, meaning that they're the most contested of the Democratic pickups, whereas the Republicans do not have a toss-up lean hold. Just lean hold. So they're identifying Georgia and Iowa as the most competitive seats, which is interesting. So now moving on to South Carolina, I wish it would let me click on it to show me something. It just shows me a map, but they have it as a lean Republican hold with a very small chance of being a tipping point, which I think is very, very interesting because you got to remember that they're saying that South Carolina should be lean to the Republicans. And yes, I do think that South Carolina will vote to the right of the country in every single election. But, having even that high of a tipping point chance, that says a lot about this election and how far to the left South Carolina has trended, even since 2014, where Lindsey Graham ran for re-election that time, and he won by a very comfortable margin. But this time around, they're having it as a lean Republican seat, even going into toss-up territory. And I've seen models that say that this is a toss-up, which I disagree with. I personally do think that Lindsey Graham will win re-election by a lot more than 1%. I think it will be something like 7 to 10%. But, this is a very interesting model. In the state of North Carolina, 92% chance for Cal Cunningham to win. I think that's very, very high. I would give him maybe a 2 and 3 chance at winning this race, to be completely honest, but certainly not a 92% chance at winning against an incumbent senator who's not, Tom Tillis, not super popular, but he's not unpopular either. So I don't think that he is going to lose big the way that they're having Cunningham ahead by nearly 7 points. Virginia should be safe as in New Hampshire. They have it also as safe, which I disagree with. I think it will fall in the likely category, but again, not really competitive. Maine, though, if they don't even give Sarah Gideon a chance at losing this race, I mean, she has nearly a 99% chance at winning. They gave her the edge by 11 points, which that's really interesting because this race has come down to whether Susan Collins can gather enough support among her base and still win the independent vote, which is she's polling behind with independents to Sarah Gideon. So it looks like it's pretty much over for Susan Collins. If I were her, to be completely honest, I would have cut my losses there and just retired and just, live a good life in Maine. But no, she's running for re-election. So, yeah. But then, Maine, Susan Collins is in trouble. I do agree that she is going to lose, but not by 11%, especially for an incumbent. So, yeah. All right. And now we're going to go up to the Great Lakes, starting with the state of Michigan, between John James and Gary Peters. And there's a lot of hype regarding John James, but here's my take on John James. He may be a rising star in the Republican Party, but you got to win at some point. I mean, say he runs for Senate in 2020. He loses to Gary Peters, which is expected according to this model. Say he loses to Gary Peters. What does he do from there? Does he run for governor and try to beat out Whitmer in 2022? I don't think he can be able to beat her in 2022, especially with how popular he is right now. What he should have done is ran for House or maybe in the state legislature, then formed a reputation in the state of Michigan for being a Republican, getting things done, then ran for Senate in 2024, maybe 2026 possible run for governor. But he is still young. It's not like this is his last chance. Politics requires patience, and I think that challenging a popular incumbent senator in a wave year in a year that looks to be a wave for the Democrats, I don't think that's the way to go. But again, that's just me going off on a tangent about why I think John James should not be running for Senate, but he is, and he is not favored to win. I mean, I don't know about Michigan being a safe Democrat hold. I don't think that's completely, I don't think that's to be. I don't really think that's true. I think Peters has like a 80% chance of winning re-election, 75%, but still, they are not giving James really a chance here. But Illinois not really that competitive, as we know. Minnesota, D plus 9.5. That is I could see that happening. I think that's reasonable. I do think it will be a little smaller of a margin of victory for the Democrats here, maybe 7 to 8%. But again, that's not completely making me raise my eyebrows. And then I in the state of Iowa, between Joni Ernst and Teresa Greenfield, this is the most interesting Senate race this year. I mean, Montana is very interesting as well, but I really think that Iowa is going to be the closest and most down to the wire because we have a Democrat who is running very strong. She's out fundraising her unpopular incumbent, mind you, in a state that went blue in 2018 at the House level, statewide. So Greenfield, and she's pulling ahead of Joni Ernst. So she has all the tools she needs, but I think that Joni Ernst will pull it out due to the polls generally underestimating GOP support in the state of Iowa. So yeah, Iowa. Lean toss-up as a toss-up lean Democratic pickup, and this does have a 5% chance of being the tipping point, which I could see it being the tipping point, but I do think Iowa in the Senate will vote to the right of the country as expected. So, but they give Teresa Greenfield a 59% chance at winning. I don't think that's crazy. I do think that she is not the favorite again for reasons I mentioned earlier, but that's essentially it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was just me talking about it, and again, I disagree with a lot of the stuff they say here. There are two states in particular, Georgia and Iowa. I do not think will flip. I think Kansas isn't going to be that close. I don't think Texas or Alaska will be that close, nor will Louisiana. But I do think that Kentucky will be a lot closer than that, as will the states of Arizona and Colorado. So, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Again, what videos would you like to see? We need more video suggestions. I've kind of been doing filler videos. The Nevada prediction should be coming out soon. But other than that, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.